Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a big concern is, we saw G2 being quite slow to adapt last week against Heroic. I think we put it down to, G2 actually not winning in regulation because of how slow they were to adapt. So it's certainly a worry going into this game.
100%. I mean, something you talked about as well is the entries on the side of G2, right?
Yeah, G2 have been pushing really good entry numbers, and I think something that they need to capitalize on more if they want to get these rounds out in regular time so that they get all the points. Because I looked at the entry frags, and it was 18-9, which is an incredible number to have. But you shouldn't be winning a game in maximum overtime with those numbers. You should be winning it in regulation so that you get all those points. So if they need to, they should capitalize more on it, and they need to just push through, because I think they're doing really good. But they need to fire as a team, not just as individual rights, and that's what we've been seeing so far.
And that's what I'm going to pick up on here, because you've looked at the stats, I've looked at the stats. Virtue's rocking over a 2 KD. They've had big individual performances of G2 in terms of Virtue, in terms of Alamar, and in terms of Doki last week. And, that, as much as they've got 5 points, and I'm not going to take that away from them, at some point that coherent team needs to happen. Uno's KD on their defense is 0.2. Benja's KD on their defense is 0.4. Some of these rounds and some of these games have been absolutely carried by individual performances. I'm not saying they're a bad team at all. Obviously, they're the current world champions. We know they can play as a team, and I want to see it from them, because going forwards, yes, it might carry you through a UL. They'll get to a deciders. But going forwards into tournaments, that's not going to consistently carry you through, the whole phase 2 of a major and phase 3 of a major.
They can't just have individual players that fires on all these cylinders, because if I look at our performance at Invitationals, the only reason we won Invitationals is because 4 players were literally playing out of their mind. Like, we had 4 players that were on the best level that they've ever been. And now we have these guys popping up on 1 map each every single play day, and it will win you maps, it will win you best of ones, but it will never win you those big long-term tournaments, because you don't have everybody just popping up, oh, now it's my turn to pop off. Now it's my turn to pop off. Everybody needs to go all the same constantly, otherwise it's not consistent.
Well, both these teams attended the major last time around, and now the paths didn't cross during that major, but now they do here. I'm really curious what kind of map we'll have for our rundown today. Now, looking at the map and phase and how it played out, we'll be heading to Skyscraper, where Wolves start on attack. It's always a bit of a difficult side, I guess, for Skyscraper. How are we feeling about this?
Yeah, a little bit of a curious ban phase, I would call it, because I think Wolves have significantly improved their map bans, particularly with the new maps coming in. I know they've banned both of them here. And the same with G2. We've effectively got both teams that have very, very large map pools. Now, I have over a long term Skyscraper being G2's #1 preference map, and Wolves have only just brought it basically into their pool. I've got it as long-term 6th preference. So from that kind of view, and the fact that Wolves are starting attack when you'd consider Skyscraper a defensive-sided map, and G2 good on the defense as well, I would say G2 have probably just about won that map ban phase.
Oh no, they totally have. Because the way that G2 wants to play against Wolves, and the way that Wolves always have done map bans against G2, is that basically they just ban the same thing over and over for a while. And Skyscraper was always the one that was going to be left open in a best of 3. And it always is left open in a best of 3. And G2 wants it in best of 3s, now they get in a best of 1, so they're just as happy with that here. It's exactly what they wanted to happen.
All right, with the #1 and #2 in this current group, it's supposed to be a really good matchup. We'll be heading to Skyscraper with Fluke and Hap.
Thank you very much, Anne and the desk, and we are heading to the very tippy top of a fancy tall building to see who is better at fighting. G2? Oh, whoa.
Yeah, so Wolves, of course, they had their off game, so they still have...
I don't know if Hap is here, or maybe he's muted.
I was, but I muted myself on Discord.
Oh, well.
It had to happen at some point. I'm glad it took 3 days.
I have... it has taken 3 days. I mean, I have like a little warning thing on mine, so I know now.
Oh. Okay, and I don't know how to do that, so...
Well, it took me a lot of messing up myself. Anyway, did you have anything insightful you said?
Yeah, I was actually speaking, so everybody else could hear, but you.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Just right.
So.
You don't have to tell me what you said.
Well, I'm still going to tell you.
Okay, go for it.
I was going to say, Wolves, of course, had their off game. They played 1 game, they won it. G2 have already played 2 and now on to their 3rd. And if they win this game, they're basically looking really good to get that 1st seed, because all they need to do is just draw up or like get 6 rounds in their remaining match, and they find themselves in first seed. So for G2, there's a, certain certainty on the line here. But for Wolves, they still have a lot of games to play. So even if they do go for a bit of a slip up here, even if this does go to overtime, they still have like 2 more games after this. So they are feeling pretty good about themselves as well.
It's also, if you're looking at the teams in that conundrum, it's the top 3 teams. Sort of at the start of the day in the group, you've got G2 and M&M are still yet to play. That is G2's final game after this. Wolves got their victory against M&M, and they were the 2 teams that were at the start of the day, as I said, sort of racing against each other with 1 clean win each. It's becoming spicier because BDS have been able to obviously take their win earlier on in the day, and it happened very, very strong. If G2 get points here, the sheer focus that they all have to then pay each other that are battling around that 3-point mark becomes terrifying. That becomes all-encompassing. It's not just that G2 have got themselves a bit clear of the game points-wise, but everybody else below them is like neck and neck punching each other in the face.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a really scrappy fight if G2 take a win here. I mean, I said it last week as well when the group played out the way it did. Like, everybody is basically somewhat even in the group. Everybody's still in contention. It's just that G2 has a little bit of extra out here. As Bibu almost finds a player from G2 rotating around. Just misses out on the opportunity. I believe if he was a second later with opening fire, he might have actually been able to get the kill out there.
It would have been an unfortunate start for G2, but sometimes those starts happen, and often to G2. They will see if they can lock down. Now, I know that they sort of said it, and it's a high preference map for G2. I still cite it as one of the turning points in their run in the sort of finals was Skyscraper, when you had, and then a slightly different roster, Blur, keeping it locked down across the side of Drum was a moment where suddenly this G2 team was like, okay, they're getting some good control against their opponents here. They're getting themselves in the contention to start winning the big title. They'll be able to kind of have that same mark here. Will their game be a little bit more guessed? P4's directly underneath. And obviously, as sneaky as you can be, they've loosed 1 grenade, but Doki's got the kill on them anyway. Before Uno can even get in place, another spray goes back towards him. Doki had bit his way down. Deadshot's on one side. Mowgli's on the window behind. He's cut, and he's stuck. But so are Wolves, because the timer is just a ticking.
Doka's rotating out as well, so he actually made himself out of the predicament he was finding himself in, and now Wolves are clearing it out with a drone, realize there's no one down there anymore, and have the opportunity to continue on with their lives and continue on with the take as a minute 20 is left on the clock, and they still need to do a lot on the actual side itself. So, breaching charge onto the wall as one was left soft to impact Trick, the hard wall next to it. Things being tossed in. LML response for the C4 doesn't detonate it instantly. Mowgli kills himself with a grenade on the back of it though, as he probably bounced it the wrong way around. Shinko walks in, Virtue finds the trade, and a 4-on-2 is that's left after all that chaos.
Oh no! Deadshot. He's trying to get a handle. Bibu's offering some support onto Shrine, but Uno gets Deadshot and leaves just the man and the bees in surrounding his bees, and he's dropped out of there. The C4 to the grenade suicide. I mean, it's just instinct, right? It's a C4's there. You can't shoot it out because he's got that in hand, so he has to move away, but he's got to let go of the explosive. Uh-oh, I've thrown it at a wall. And that is just... all of that within a split second is a Shakespearean tragedy. Or a comedy, depending on which team you support.
I mean, there's 2 things that could happen there, right? Like, either, and this is the most likely scenario, C4 gets tossed, Mowgli gets spooked, walks to the side, and does the grenade bounces in an unfortunate way and hits him.
Yep.
Or, the more comedic version, Mowgli releases the grenade, the C4 gets tossed, they collide mid-air, and it bounces back. Now, only replays can tell us.
No, sure. I think if it was as funny as the second one would have been, I think the grenade would have got the kill a little bit earlier. He wouldn't have even been able to detonate the C4. Because the kill happened after the C4 got detonated.
Yeah, that's true.
He just took a step back to get away from the C4. And as I said, if he had his gun out, he could have shot that very easily. I mean, okay, very easily for them, not for a regular player. It's not that easy. But, I mean, what a way. What a way to open. From always getting a cheeky kill through a soft to that. Bibu. See if they can get the quick zip. Obviously, played on the Grim on the previous round. They've got their opportunity here to maybe put some pressure in with the shotgun. They're getting some danger on towards Uno. He was touching this position before. They just sort of made the statement spray there over the soft, but it would have got shot out anyway. So Uno still feels a little bit safe.
Drone coming in. It's in a nice little elevated area, so some good information being gathered as P4 is trying to sneak himself all the way through right below the site. Now, once those drones start gathering information, those grenades are starting to come into play right there. So that's what they're trying to bank on, or potentially find a cheeky onto Alamau as he's playing on those back stairs. Maybe you can find yourself on the right timing out there with the drones and find yourself aiming at him as he doesn't look, because now an execute seems to definitely be coming through.
Well, there it is. The quick zip over the top. Everybody's blind. BB's going to go for the plant and the chaos, but does not last very long. Virtue pops around the corner, gets the spray, and Deadshot is left sort of wondering what happened. The smoke works against him. He cannot get the cover for the player, and now the kit is entirely isolated. They have a lot of time. There's always the benefit of when a player like that goes wrong, but also they're in a tricky situation because they've still got to try and retake the pressure on towards Black Stairs. They got the shield down before things kicked off, so Mowgli can try and take this fight, but Alamau is going to be on the bad end of it. I was going to say ready for it, but then pushed in, maybe a little bit too eager. Mowgli burns the gate as P4 comes up behind, should get the execute, and there it is. The Deadshot and P4 getting one apiece as well. Suddenly they have a man advantage.
Yeah, I believe that the call might have come through there that Alamau was being pushed, and thus they look to, collapse, see if they can put some pressure down. But P4 now holding the back, actually spots the head of the Valkyrie, doesn't quite connect to it. Doki holding tight, knows that another swing will be coming through, misses his shot in his attempt, tries to go through the wall, again through the door. That's a misthrown C4 as it gets taken down by Shinka. So in the end, that roamer has been neutralized. 2 left on the side of G2, 4 on Wolves. Good opportunity here to still try and regain that diffuser and go for a plant.
Master gets the bite back. They're still holding onto the window. The blinds are going to come through. They're trying to force P4 out of position, and they've at least got themselves to the top of Black and ready for the fight, but they have to move together. The grenade comes over the top and just kept on going, but they went out against the Ying. The positioning there, Avenger gets one. They're tucked in such a dangerous place, caught out. With 13 seconds and a 1 versus 1, Uno, he's looking for the route out. They've got to pick the kid up and go for the plant. They're well aware of it. P4 has it. There's a ping on where they think...
He's lagging.
Oh, he's lagging! Oh, no! Oh, no!
He's lagging, yeah. I was looking at him as well, and I was like, there's something going wrong out there. Like, he was pressing F and something wasn't happening. Yeah, there you have it, lagging.
Oh, that's unlucky. It's something you never want to see, obviously, that late into the round. The round has gone to something that was just out of anyone's control. It's unfortunate. It's bitter.
Now, time would still run out, and he would still be on the plant. It's just the question then, would the time be there to go for that rotate and get the kill before the plant's completed, right? That's what we would be wondering right now. But that's so unfortunate because he wasn't really given an option at that point. Like he tried his best, and it's just sometimes, the internet is against you.
What is Doki doing?
He's just dancing, I guess. Not allowed to talk during these tech breaks. So that's his way of communicating to the crowd, I guess.
He's a fiend for inspiring socials.
Just, it ain't a good game until the social team also has something they can use.
Nice playing with this monitor.
He's remeasuring it, just making sure everything is properly. Where's our measuring tape? Come on. Pull that out. Either way, it's unfortunate. Probably like during the tech break now, where we're trying to figure out, or Wolves rather is trying to figure out what the issue is. Is it the restart of a router necessary? Is there something else going on? You definitely don't hope that's the case. Just hope that a quick restart is going to be enough, but It's hard to tell.
We just gotta wait.
That's it. We gotta wait.
Gotta wait. Like anybody else. We'll hopefully be back in soon. Obviously, as you said, it's one of those issues that, luckily we're not plagued with too much from these teams in EUL, but you never know. I remember a play day, was it last split, where about half of the league couldn't play because one major
certain provider
went down, and we had some tragic reorganizing that had to happen very last minute.
Yeah, I mean that's the nature of online, right? Like everybody's on different providers. If one fails, then that could just impact a player or multiple players, depending on where you are, of course. I believe a full rehost is being called. So just waiting until everybody's back into the server. And then we can get going again. But 2-0 currently for G2. And that last round, that seemed like it could have gone to Wolves, Emmy. If it wasn't for everything in the end, like Benja and the lag coming through in the end, that kind of threw it all apart for them.
I mean, entirely. I think that's the sort of thing it's very risky in a 1 versus 1 if anything happens, because you'll never have, if a problem occurs to either player, it'll never be more weighted, obviously, than if it's a 1 versus 1. But at the same time, they had, I don't know what the ping was. Maybe a player saying plant here, and they assume whereas panicked just before, and they had the cover of the 2 solid walls. The one thing that I think might have swung that into Uno's favor is what we saw last from Uno was a rotate towards drum. So if P4 had planted there, Uno would have just had to swing the drum door and got the shot onto him. So, if he'd have planted karaoke, he might have been able to get closer to get it off. But that wall, I think, Uno would have been able to have the round based. But that's just, that's just us filling time.
It is. It's just us like going about what if. But I believe everybody's back in. And we're underway again. Round 3 is going to be happening. Barbecue Kitchen, as we call it. Phil, come on.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to Phil, respond to it. Hungriest side of them all. There we go.
Okay. I mean,
Yes.
I can let you have that sometimes.
No, that's fine. I was looking to make it, it's...
I was hungry, and then I had a Lunchable.
A Lunchable?
Do you have those in Dutchland?
What is a Lunchable?
I guess not.
What is it? But maybe we
Like
just
a little
call it different.
It's like a little snack pack.
So I
like
guess
a little-
not.
It's like a little pack of snacks.
See, we just grab a boterham met kaas or anything else,
But-
Yeah.
Of course you do.
Now for lunch, we eat bread. For breakfast, a lot of people eat bread as well.
People love
Hot
bread.
meals are reserved for dinner
Right,
most of
what
the time.
people also love is this. Uno. You get spotted? Did you not get spotted?
Don't think he did.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah,
got
definitely
spotted.
did.
He got spotted. He's gonna...
They can't hit him.
Oh! How did he slip away? No, please don't let him escape. He escapes.
He escaped.
He escapes. 3 of them went for that close down. They pre-fired the angle. I mean, he escapes. It's...
He walked through 2 shots. Like, he somehow managed to slip through 2 of them. And now they're wondering, where did he go? He definitely escaped there with his life. Took a little bit of damage, but that's something he's willing to live with at that point. Summons are popping off, though, and that means that the wall inside of the bathroom is being opened up. It's going to give a long line of sight into Barbecue. Limited top take actually coming down from Wolves. No one really there except for Mowgli. Usually we do see a heavy top push coming in, especially around, of course, Geisha, which you need to take for that hatch, but Seems like they're not really that interested in it.
Mowgli putting the pressure over here, trying to still catch the loose thread and threat of Uno, who was able to escape himself. They have the drones in the eyes inside. Deadshot's still got some thievery he can do here, and it allows Mowgli to move in a little. There was a mute jammer on the opposite end, but he's not quite as interested in that. The slow creep round as they just wait for a call. The two players holding on to the vertical, to the angle, as the, again, very slow movement of pressure on the back end upstairs. But look at this. Shinka gets the smokes coverage, gets himself tucked in and goes for the plant. Benja's trying to see the angle, but they've already slipped through Benja.
And everybody's up on the top right now from G2. It's going to be a double kill coming out from Wolves before Benja's able to respond, but everybody's outside the building already. Fuser has been planted. That needs to be recovered now. That's a heck death nat there that is going to be blinding Benja just temporarily, but look at where that's planted. Long angles around as well that can be held from the bathroom, and it's only up to him now. He goes for a jump out, and that means it's basically over as he gets shut down by the pistol from Bieber right after, and Wolves, they pick up a round.
I mean, it was very clever play there from Wolves. From what was like almost a failed take on the first player, where they had three of them getting into position, but they just missed the moment on the first fight, and because of that, he sort of had the warning that all the pressure was coming. To that close down at the end, where they didn't activate until all the players were in a position to steal it and they'd stolen things. I mean, it's definitely making up for the mistakes previously, and it gets them that round 2-1. We'll find ourselves swinging back round to the side that started it all.
All right. Now, this side is used to be like the secondary side, but it's seemingly to be chosen more and more by teams. Of course, there is multiple different ways to play this. Usually what we see now is what we see exactly here, is that the exterior wall has one reinforced, the other one has holes in the bottom of it to make it easier to impact trick any heart breach that goes out there. But the key to the attack is also relatively simple. Is as soon as you open up these walls, as soon as you have these long lines of sight through, you open up the window from the little samurai hallway, you open up the VIP wall, suddenly there's so many angles that the defenders cannot really move anymore, or someone's going to be seeing them. And that's how we usually see very quick attacks succeed, where if they have all those angles, it's just the defenders that are moving so much under the pressure that's being set up that they're just walking right into the crossfire. So see if that's the plan that Wolves is going for, if they have a different approach planned.
Quick breaks onto the top. House stairs. Getting some control. Again, of that sort of loose rotation. We think about the positioning there that maybe cost them with the C4 incident. B4 is in that position holding the grenade and loses it much quicker. They're back on the drone. They don't want to fall for the same step, the same mistake as before.
So spotting out one player out there at least. Benja unaware of the fact that he has been spotted. Grenades now being tossed his direction, but Alamar will find Shinka as a diffuser drop before will respond, however. And Wolves, they find themselves in VIP and the house stairs, but a run-out comes through, and that's going to mean that one side has been cleaned up as Doki swings up to Mowgli.
They get at least one of them in the fray. Alamau is gone, but again, this tricky situation of having to try and force yourself into a site where they are isolated. Virtue and Doki had the lockdown either way, and it's sort of the bad back edge to that. If you go for that full swing pressure, if you go for that full swing take and you lose one or two options, those players that do get a breakthrough, those players that do get themselves into an aggressive position are pretty much surrounded. They have such little wiggle room where they can go in and out because the motion's been called. And at least the results like that. 3-1, G2, they keep themselves going. It's Sky. You do expect the defenders to get themselves a good advantage. A 4-2 split isn't the most uncommon, so we might find this fight happening, if not on this round. And this goes into G2's favor, then on the back down towards Barbecue.
And as we get going again, a quick plant attempt was made. That failed. So is Wolves going to back off from that? I assume they will. Someone will have a camera down below in the bedroom. So it's going to be helping potential detection where the push is coming from. Not quite sure. Maybe for like, I'm wondering. I'm trying to figure out why you would place it there if there's nobody playing there. We might still see someone go that way to roam, but it could also be to know if someone is downstairs with a grenade operator, just so you know to get out of the area out there. Of course, that's just me guessing.
It's all you can do.
That's all I can do.
That's all you can do. Uno was sprayed through against that position last time, and he expected it this time. This time, didn't quite have the same catch, and, well, they had to pull away. They were reactive to the reaction, and luckily for them, didn't get caught out. Shinka popped a single bullet, and then took care of it. Mowgli sees the vertical angle. You're looking at 4 grenades currently underneath the site itself. The spray through Alamau, I'm not sure if he was fully aware. There was a yellow ping, so he had some reactivity. The first grenade smashes just under the single wall. I think that's to allow... Yeah, you can hear the Selma popping off that was pre-placed. Mute jammer caught out.
Wanted to get that piece of utility, second grenade to be used towards the main stairs. Going to be removing some of the utility out there. Virtue, in the meantime, is on the cams, trying to figure out if someone is pushing in from the restaurant area. So RC Reterrors are starting to come through. That definitely might be bringing some trouble. It's going to be taken down quickly there, so nothing really to worry about. It is going to be giving away some information, though, to the side of Wolves that they can maybe act upon. But Alamau, with that shotgun onto the back stairs, is turning his back at the wrong time here as P4 smashes the barbed wire. He's going to be aware of the fact they might be pushed from the back. But look at that, Mowgli on the long angles, watching it as well. They were hoping to bait him out to go for a swing.
There it is, the burn through, pops the shotgun, doesn't connect, but the grenade does with the follow-up there from Mowgli and the gun, and they're using that almost as a 3-2-1 go. They get the pick on for Virtue as well. He tried his best to hold them off and to stop them moving in. He knew they wanted to be fluid behind that first pressure and push, and well, it forces them into a suddenly very tricky situation. Uno's waiting for the rappel to come up, but with 50 seconds, Wolves, they're utilizing this time to drone, to send that Iana gadget through first. P4 with the slow creep isn't quite slow enough. Oki had the catch onto the player. They keep control of the black stairs, but the swinging has happened onto Karaoke window. Benja picks up Mowgli, though. Gets that stop down. The Wolves players are once again getting themselves a little bit rebuffed on this final push.
He'd be repelled in. He has that diffuser, has the opportunity to go for a plan, but as soon as he puts this down, all alarm bells should be going off. They should be aware of what's going on right now, and I'm wondering, no, Doki gets taken out. No C4 coming through. It's only up to Uno now. He gets the first. Will he get the second? No, Beeble shuts him down, and Wolves, they find themselves with a second round on the board as well. Oh, that Claymore.
I mean, a sneaky Claymore. Gets it locked in, gets one back, and it's back and forth here. Wolves, I loved the explosion up the stairs behind that grenade. I loved the motion of it. And then the confidence to try and pick the fight in the following and just sort of say, we've got an advantage. Let's push. Let's pressure the top of the site. It gets them that second round. And I said a 4-2 split isn't the worst in the world. It might be decided on this third site. The third site is the double down. The third site here.
A 4-2 split is definitely something that is very workable for both these teams. But as Wolves is going to be able to get a third round out here, G2, they might be in a bit of trouble for the remainder of this match. Not that it's, game ending. It's not like a 6-0 health that we've seen before. That's very hard to come back from. But it's just that extra bit of room that they have. You basically start from zero with just a single health to play at that point. Where the defense is slightly favored overall. And you just start thinking of it, like the double grenade, Elamau shooting his shot with a shotgun but not doing a single point of damage. Like somehow all those pellets missed. Very unfortunate to him. And then as the retake happens, because player on the main stairs didn't actually realize someone repelled in. I thought that would have been heard, but apparently not. And suddenly it comes as a surprise that the plant's going down.
Wolves can get themselves a 3-3 split here. Wow, that makes things quite spicy for our second half. And to be fair, with how G2's games have gone, they've got a really good control in the first half. That is art. Three claymores. all decorating the bottom there. And I guess when they added the extra claymores, you may as well just throw them in, you know?
Why not, right? It's like, gotta be really sure that there's nobody jumping out from that window and staying alive at the end of it. As Wolves still all outside, having every window prepared with a claymore, so they're definitely certain no one's gonna try and go for a jump out, or otherwise they're gonna pick up another claymore kill. Wow, with the shield, wondering where he's going.
Why. They're like, we got 1. Let's try and get another 3. Alamau, again, he's leaning aggressively onto these stairs. You have to sort of have that pressure, and he's about to meet something that he can't quite pressure off. Hello, Monty. There's a smoke canister. There is that way of forcing it, and sprays over the top, hoping someone was ready on the shoulder to offer it, but now he knows his time and utility is limited. If he can't get a bite before this has happened, it's only really a matter of time before he has to be forced out of position. As soon as that last smoke canister goes, what can he do against that Monty and against 2 players on one side of him?
Oh, that's it. It's like it's 2 players on one side, 2 on the other. Alamau is really stuck in a wool sandwich right here, and he really needs to support a Virtue and everyone else that he can get. Nade is coming out. Also, the wasted ADS. It's Alamau trying to push through, but he gets taken out. It's a double kill to come through from Mowgli as he opens up the side in his own.
Twice he's done that on the top of Black Stairs. Just got that first take and moved on behind it to try and get the momentum onto the second. And twice it's Alamau and Virtue that have suffered. And now with a Monty creeping their way, and he can just turn his back to this and try and get the plant. At first, he's going to ping it and sort of say, well, I've got one watching the crossfight over there, but with no impacts, it has to come down to Doki on a C4 if they want any chance of stopping this. That, unfortunately, is not in a position to get the catch. They have to try and force the gunfight. They lose out at the top of Black Stairs. The Monty, you assume, will redeploy. There it is in the corner. And this is as close to impossible as it really gets. Although there's 2 players, what they're up against here is not only guns and a post plant with kind of full control around the site, but this Bibu in a corner with a shield deployed, pinging every step Uno takes.
Just a sentinel down there, right? Like, if you're in a 1vx and there's a Monty on the board, they will know where you're coming from. It's going to be hot bangs right on top of you. Your chance of winning is going to be really small, and thus, Wolves, they even out the half with a 3-3 now being pushed over towards the defense themselves. They have to show that they can do better than G2, and if they manage to take this in regulation, they will take the lead off the group at the end of today. So there is that on the line. Whoever wins this in regulation is going to be the group leader.
Spicy day. And when we talk about G2 being able to maybe take the breakaway, I mean, if they fall here with the 3 points, excuse me.
You okay?
Sorry, I just choked on air.
Yeah, Bobby, that happens, I guess.
It does.
I haven't had it happen to me yet, personally, but...
I don't even know what. It's so warm.
It is very warm.
The air is thick. These houses that we have aren't built to... They're built to conserve heat, and that sucks in a heat wave. Let me tell you. But the point that I was sort of making there is there's suddenly this fight for not only the first place, but remembering that all that talk of if G2 win this, they've only got 1 game left. They're in a great spot. If G2 lose this, they've only got 1 left, and Wolves have an extra. They are suddenly in a very risky spot for that guaranteed place.
Well, that's definitely it. So again, a lot on the line here. And G2 onto their attacks. They need to go off with a flying start. Liking to see that Senses on the board. They are just bringing that unique ability in the light screens. It's kind of functions like a smoke, but it's also completely different. But you can just lock off entire hallways like that quite effectively. Whereas a single impact grenade would stop that from happening. But I think they want to combine this with Alamau, of course.
Sensible rolls through, but the Kiba barricade instantly deployed. P4 gets themselves sucked in, revealed on a drone, but it stops the first push behind it. Doki has to go in for the fight and just pushes and takes it. He's now on the other side. They didn't have the diffuser with them, but there might still be the threat of do they. Mowgli's going to go for a fight underneath and just tears through. No, it was Bibu even. Mowgli got Benja, but Benja got Mowgli in a sort of trade out, and Bibu was the one who gets the carrot on the opposite side. Caught on a drone and reveal. Has to pick up and rotate round. Virtue's picked up the kit in the meantime with Deadshot watching on drum. Virtue's just going to roll it through. Deadshot gets the take. Uno gone. The sense wall goes up. Alamau's watching to see if they rotate round. And there it is, but they win it out. Can't quite have the reactivity of Bibu. With a minute 10, another roll of that. They know that Warden's on the board. They know that they can see through the game. They have to take the fight and they win it out. Just Bibu left in now in a 1 versus 1. Just Doki left. He opened the round with the spray. Bibu bit back underneath. 55 seconds. He's going to hold onto the plant. He should be able to pop it off at this point, but they can use this time to get close. In fact, no, it's Virtue left. My mistake.
What a shot.
Virtue's all that's needed.
Did they have a ping? That's what I'm wondering, because it gets off, instantly pre-fires, and no, not even a ping, so there must have been the sound cue or anything like that that he responded on so quickly after the plant. So accurately as well. So G2, they retake the lead with their first attack. It was a great opening from Doki running through onto the back stairs, but it kind of got messy after that. You saw a couple of plant attempts that got aborted by Virtue every single time like shots were being fired. It feels like they could have gone that plan down way early, but at least they still have that round in the end.
It could have gone down way early, but remember how it sort of started was obviously the keeper barricade stopping that instant movement. It took Doki throwing himself in to take the fight as the Ash with the confidence that you need of an entry, the confidence that you need of somebody who, on the side of statistics that was said by Fabian at the start of this game, they're huge on it. It's about 18 to 4 or 5 is their success rate there. And you know, that as the sort of benefit. If that fight goes away from them, then suddenly there's a lot of pressure on the rest of the round. A full change-up of operators and takes here. They've gone from what was a plan A to a plan B. How do they think they can make the connection?
All right. Let's see. As that's one on the board. Many more still to be gained. Electrified walls, so that means they cannot instantly open up. They do have to impact EMPs, but their range is significantly shorter. We'll still hit it though, as it was of course a bandit battery and not anything else. Kate is banned, meaning you only have to hit the floor, nothing else. Doki pushing through from Geisha. It's going to be sidelining right to a long angle, but the castle barricade is going to be stopping him from doing so. Be quite dangerous actually hitting that, because someone could be prone all the way on the other side shooting at your feet if you decide to start punching it. Very extended hold actually. The mirror windows out there with the castle barricades all around Geisha and T.
Yeah, a sort of full stretch. Gotta reload. An eyes on what can else be seen around, and Doki with the slow crouch. He wants to fight against Shinka underneath. They're hoping it's the angle. Shinka seems to know and just sprays off. He's waiting for the movement to come back round. In the same time, they've moved all the way up towards mirror, and they've just blown the mirror window open. At this point, they were hoping for the catch, but it also revealed the player. That's a sneaky camera.
Richard just holding a man, but he's just delayed on the trigger, and P4 manages to rotate out. Now they do have a camo man. They do know exactly where he is, and E1D is going to be stopping him from moving any further, so they hope to actually be able to reply on the back of that. Stokie now pushing in as well. They're aware of the player inside the drum, but the shield gets taken out by Bibu, and instantly the head follows right after. So that's the entry kill. 1 minute left on the clock.
I mean, it killed so quick, it spun the camera around as well. P4 gets the next, and a minute left. The 3 versus 5. They've suffered here on trying to just break through onto drum. As I said, it becomes this choke point. You can see they're actually retaking the top of Shrine as well. They've lost the mirror window there once upon a time, but now with the man advantage, they're confident to step in and make things awkward. There it is. Mowgli gets one. Uno gets at least one back. And now with only Alamau left, he finds the breakdancing Bibu, who's already done more than enough damage this round. They looked like they wanted to fight for a second there, but Mowgli, rightfully so, pulls back. That being keyboard, doesn't really have the time, has to run his route. There's somebody behind Dragon. He just sees a sliver on. It's easy enough for Mowgli to pick up. Back and forth.
I wouldn't be surprised if this goes all the way to 15 rounds before we decide which of these two teams is going to be the winner. We're on 4-4 right now. First floor is going to be next up, barbecue and kitchen. And again, top floor will be quite important, at least usually, because when Wolves attacked this successfully the last time around, they actually went for a straight-on push into the site, go for the plant, didn't even bother about that top floor. So it's definitely possible to just take the bathroom, just open up the wall onto barbecue, and just, try and get the plant like that. So it requires some control horizontally, making sure no one is around in the restaurant area. But Wolves made it work. What kind of take is G2 gonna go for, though? Different teams, different ideals, different approaches.
G2. Snappy moments, snappy attacks that led to a little bit of a standstill, and they are that team that was often cited as being the ones that around their run at SI developed the take of prodding and probing a defense for a weak spot and then trying their best to actualize upon it, trying their best to then break it across. That's become what is cited as the way to attack in this game at this point. There, as you said, it felt like they couldn't quite get their way broken across. The defense put together quick double break, quick setup. Nuno holding on to a position that he often played on the other side of in the previous rounds.
It's going to be a closure from all the way down below. Drone is not going to be able to pass through anymore, I believe, from Uno. Actually, might have just actually fit through at the very bottom of it. Do have that little bit of information to go through. The Brava drone hacked one PC utility, but nothing more than that. Quickly shut down afterwards. Now 2 minutes are left on the clock, and G2 are left with basically limited information. Still not really focusing that much onto that top floor. Alamao's out there. I believe there is Doki as well on the opposite side of things, but everybody else seems to be trying to find a weakness in the hole, the Wolves, and see if they can utilize it. Benja as well, hoping for someone to just rotate. Hoping for someone to just take a bit of a gander. Take a look, even at that. Does an FNAT get spotted? Is that going to explode like this? That's the big question, because Doki wants to follow up on the back of it. He shot it. Works as well.
It's been taken. Alamao holding on and pressures towards the window as Doki suffers as he tries to take a step into the building. It's Bibu still eagle-eyed watching the cross, but as Uno gets Mowgli, that space becomes a little bit thinner. How long can they stay in that position? Well, to be honest, how many options does he have to get out of there? He falls slightly further back as the smoke covers some motion, but Deadshot sprays through on a premonition and now is haunted by the ghost of virtue. Doki's round the corner to get some spiritual revenge. Bibu still in that power position in the corner is making things tricky. Now he is the only one left. If he could get a kill before he gets dropped, that could be a big surprise factor. Are they aware of Bibu playing on top? They will be soon, because you still need that vertical control. However, 40 seconds is the time when mistakes might start to happen. The spray comes back against them. They have a hefty man advantage here. They have to see if they can try and do this as cleanly as possible. He has dropped at least. He realizes he wants to fight with a teammate on his shoulder, but Benja might have different ideas. Ooh, they know that they're roughly around that corner. There's a bit of motion, but the cover's from Bibu.
Oh, B4 jumps over and finds another kill as well. And now it's a 2-on-2 situation. There's another ping to come through. Doki drops. It's only left to Uno now. And a 1v2, 9 seconds left on the clock. This is looking very unlikely for him. He needs to make a push happen, but look at that. The keeper barrier is going to be holding him back. He needs to go for a jump, but the time will be running out. And Wolves, they take the lead. By just a single round, but it's the lead nonetheless.
It's rough, isn't it? You can sort of see the pieces spinning. And as I said, as soon as you have Bibu in that position, you know that G2 need to keep an eye on that and get some clearance on it, which they were trying to do. The timing of when Bibu must have got out of there, based on when he sort of fired those shots and said, yep, I'm up here, slipped his way down. They just got a bit blinkered. It got a bit chaotic in the late round. And this is why they actually brought in Uno, to solve the problems like this they used to have. That late game, late round calling, to give just a clear voice, a clear sort of picture of how to do that final take. And unfortunately here, hasn't quite worked out. Wolves pull slightly ahead, and G2 obviously take their time out.
Need to have a little chat. But the chat is over now. It's time to continue. Round 10. Again, we have been trading rounds pretty much the entire way through. G2 now hoping to return that favor, put themselves back up to 5. We'll head back towards the karaoke NT room. Now, we did see some explosiveness that worked out for G2, whilst, for example, taking the backstairs. We might need to see more of that at points, because when they start stalling, when they start, you know, like worrying about what's on the other side of things, which is the right thing to do, by the way, usually, you have to deal with utility and players on the other side. That gives Wolves the opportunity to just find the replies necessary to shut G2 down. Whenever we see them just go for it, shortly said, they're just picking up these kills that, you know, should have been prevented by the utility on the door. So maybe we need to see a bit more aggression. Or maybe we need to see the Monty to be played out by G2 and see if they can shepherd out these players properly.
I mean, it worked, obviously, on the sort of change of the take of Wolves when they were wanting to rebuff that aggression, rebuff those angles. Some of these takes haven't quite been able to filter their way, and if in doubt, fall to the man that can be a walking wall, that can really get the lead in. Now, Uno's obviously getting some peeks and peers around. He's not full deployed, just so he can have a little bit of an angle round, but he's still safe enough. Where will they try and find their first strike here? They're looking to root out from underneath, bounce the grenades. They just want the precise calls in the location. There's the sort of break. Hit the walls, make some go of it, force the motion that Benja can maybe catch them on the back of. Deadshot has some eyes and ideas. Uno's under a lot of pressure. The impact, and Mowgli gets Doki. In the meantime, they're going for the rebuild. Has to pull back because of the goo mines. Mowgli takes a lot of damage from underneath and the rest of it. As the Monty hops back in, Deadshot. Not entirely alone. We can see the Kiba barricades, but those impacts utilized. There's an impact from underneath. Benja gets the cover, gets P4, and look at this. Uno is just really forcing them, bullying the player back.
So back to site you go. Already enough damage is done to my team. We'll take it from here. As he's decided to control some drops are coming through from Wolves as well, just making sure to have people downstairs able to play it vertically as well. And maybe even go for a flank later on. Now, Alamau, he's afraid of a potential jump out. He's just waiting on for now. Of course, already on that rappel, so has the opportunity to quickly transition into that by looking through the window, putting some pressure onto that instead. As Uno is prepping his drone, I'm not sure if he's setting it up. Oh, he's going up top. He's scouting out. So those two players have gone unspotted on the bottom floor. Trying to gold? Assume that's going to be his plan.
I mean, that's what they're sort of angling up to. Their eyes onto gold. They're getting that breached open. You've got Alamau watching the cross and the rotation there, potentially up the side, but with the players inside and with one underneath, makes things a little bit dicey. And as I said, this late round, this moment, is when G2 need to pick things up. Uno went for something tricky, but almost suffered himself. It's Shinka with the spray over the top, though. Gets rid of Uno, gets rid of the Monty that was causing so much problem. And here, 15 seconds, they've got to just try and send it. They send the first. There's the response. It's suddenly a 1 versus 2. Alamau's all that's left. He's peering up some stairs that Deadshot knows about. And once again, the late round has bit G2. That final 10 steps into the site seems like it stretches a million miles.
I mean, it gets quite difficult to take it at that point as well, right? Like, the thing about it there is, like, okay, we're next to the site, but there's so many angles we need to cover off right now. Alamau's on that window, but the one wall he can use to support his teammate there has been reinforced off. Of course, as Sophie, you don't really have anything you can open that up with. If it was a soft one, it would have been an easy impact. You would have shot at it. But he was basically almost useless in the position he was in. If he pushed up the backstairs a bit earlier, they might have been able to play on the back of each other. And, you know, Uno, at that moment, going prone to shoot through the drone hole. I mean, he was right with the idea that there was someone right behind it, but he took so much damage in the process there. And I think, like, as soon as he walked into gold, they should have just instantly swung on the door as well to stop anybody from trying to stop it. It's just some slight mistakes. People going in one by one, not having the cover on each other to stop the player from Wolves that's going aggressive, because Wolves, they spot an opportunity, they take it. They see a player is out there alone, take the fight. Like, the Monty is alone in gold, unextended. What are you going to do? You're going to wait until it extends or wait until it plants with the shield one's back? No, you take the fight instantly. And that worked out for them. Because there was no cover ready.
Six to 4, Wolves. You've guaranteed yourself a point here in a sort of must-guarantee game. Can G2 take something back? They're pulling things back from the precipice. It's a situation. Oh. I mean, they've put other teams in before, but this time, first goes away from the Mowgli, tears the head off of Uno. Still stuck in a stunned silence. There's not a response. There's not an instant rebuttal.
It's a very painful way to lose your ace, though, by just a swing from Mowgli the way it happened. Luckily, LML is also playing the Heart Breach, which means they can open up everything that they need to open up. That didn't quite succeed due to the electrification on the back of it, so the mirror window will stay closed. As barricades at least get opened up. Grenade to be bounced on the back of it, but Shinka already found himself in a bit of a safe angle where he doesn't really have to worry about grenades that much. And you see it on the staircase as well, utilizing the little gap underneath the castle barricade to see if they can find just that one G2 player, overstaying their welcome a bit. But the amount of grenades that get tossed in, I believe everything almost but one has gone through. Nothing has found the player.
A minute 20, all that's left of G2's chances in this game, unless they can try and push this over. They've got to see if they can force out this position. A power one played before in the first attempt at that. Over the top, Deadshot's gone, but Mowgli just steps in to fill the gap. It's such a narrow line, but that's the second time he's threaded it. The swing round goes against them, but P4 has the cover. It's a 2 versus 3. Abibu is down. Virtue on this side, you assume they're not going to be able to get the player up, which will bring it back to the 2 versus 2. Couldn't quite keep him up. Alamau, though, doesn't want to be baited into the fight, and there it is, the take. 40 seconds. Shinka replaces the C4 underneath, waits for the call, hopes that they just step in, thinking it's a little bit of a laid trap. P4 doesn't have a lot of health here. The flashes come out. How aware are they of the player underneath? Alamau's looking for the fight, looking for the engagement. There's pings on the C4. It's gone. They're going to see if they can maybe hop up and over around, go for the 2 versus 1 onto P4. They're around the back of him, and he's caught out entirely unaware. Shinka in the do-or-die clutch situation. He gets the first, he gets the second, and Wolves take all 3.
G2 almost managed to draw that round to their own hands, but Wolves just enough in that last round, just able to get this with a 7-4 victory. And I said it, like a 3-3 is a very good split for Wolves. It's very problematic for G2. He's going to manage to win one more round after that. Well, Wolves, a very deserved 3 points with that, leading their groups. And they still have the most games to play out of anybody left.
It is a rough day for G2 here, and the pressure is on. So we'll throw it to a desk with a man who probably has a lot to say about that game after this quick break.
Eliminate all of the terrorists. Hostiles remaining. Nice. 4 neutralized. Mission successful.
G2.
Éliminer les terroristes. Point ennemi. Homme fort éliminé. Eliminate the terrorists. The enemies remaining. Eliminate all of the terrorists. Three hostiles remaining.
Okay.
Op 4 eliminated.
It took a beautiful clutch from Shinka to close out that game in a 7-4 Wolves take down G2. And we have our winners on the line. We are joined by Bibu. Bonsoir, Bibu. You must be feeling very good after this game.
Bonsoir. Yes, of course. Winning against G2. We knew it will be a great game, and it has been. So, yeah, very happy to take the 3 points and the victory.
All right, sounds good. Why Skyscraper, though? Because Skyscraper isn't necessarily your highest preference map, but it's a really good map for G2.
I mean, because we like the map, we didn't want to go on the other maps. They banned our best map. We banned one of their best map too. And also, I think we had the question around like Consulate and stuff like that, but it's new map. We knew Dax were more confident on Skyscraper and like more default maps. So, like I said, we knew it would be a great match, hard match. So we just prefer to go on something we knew at 100%.
Understandable. A great match it was for sure. Are you happy with the way you played today? You did close it out in regulation.
Yeah, we are very happy. A bit slow at the beginning, but they play well. We had the little issue with P4 on this 1v1. So yeah, it's a bit frustrating, but at the same time, to be honest, I don't think it impact us too much because the round was kinda really close. I don't really know if we could have won it, but like we said, we never know. But it's not like something that throw up around totally. So it was okay. We just reset mentally and go back on the other attacks. We prepare some stuff and it worked well. So we were very confident on the 3-3 half, and after we just play our defense and perfect.
Yeah, 3-3 half on Skyscraper attack is really good. You're now first in your group, and you're playing Heroic tomorrow. How are you feeling about that?
I mean, I'm feeling good to be first because, like I said, last stage was not the same. But I mean, Eric had like the little change, so we don't know. But I think if they did it, it's because they are better with Anarchic. So just we'll prepare our match. Our staff was already working on it during the weekend. So yeah, just prepare our match, not underestimate anyone, like I said every time, and yeah, be ready and play as good as we play on the first match.
Indeed, very important to not underestimate someone. Anything you want to say to the fans to close it off?
Thank you for the support. Thank you for everything, for every message or everything like you are doing, because you are the Rainbow Six Siege. We are trying to animate it, but if you are not watching and supporting us, there is nothing. So thank you to Wolves for the support, like every time, every day. We love them, and yeah, thank you for the interviews. Thank you for the cast, for the analyst desk, and good luck for the last match.
Those are some very sweet words. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we hope to speak to you again soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. So very sweet words at the end there towards Wolves, towards the community. Always good to hear that.
Yeah,
right?
and towards us. And towards us. That's the one we were liking the most, really.
It's the only one that matters to me, really.
He was always BB was always very nice in the interviews. Rise
Yeah.
always was very nice to us in the interviews. You know, we can take more of this praise, players, if you're listening. But you know, we're going to give it back as well. We're going to give it back as well because Wolves were genuinely excellent today.
Yeah.
We've been, you know, you asked me before the whole thing started, and are they living up to the hype? They lived up to it last week by taking M&M to one of their best maps, beating them on it. They took G2 to one of their best maps and beat them on it as well. I think this Wolves train, you know, it's departing. It's heading all the way to the major 6 Invitational. They'll be there. Very, very good from them. The one thing that I liked was their attacks, particularly onto Skyscraper. I don't think they countered too hard because I think it's very hard when you got back-to-back play days to counter. I think they played very, you know, default, but their top black takes, particularly for the karaoke T attacks, that worked at least twice, maybe even 3 times, obviously with that unfortunate disconnect, really set them up. G2 have had an 82% win rate on defense on Skyscraper. Wolves got a 3-3 split on their attacks, so they beat that, you know, law of averages there. And then once Wolves got onto their defense, G2 just had no answers. They had no solution. They had no team play. And Wolves just saw it out, as you would expect on Skyscraper defense.
It's with BB as well. I've always wondered why he always have these big games against G2. It's been since I played for G2, and he just keeps having them and really showing up. Mowgli had a much better performance today as well in comparison to the last play day. And it just shows how good of an overall team that they are. Because I genuinely believe when Bibo said in the interview that they wanted to play Skyscraper, I actually think that they baited G2 into it. Because G2 has it as one of their absolute highest preferences, and Wolves had a bit lower down. They know they can always get it. I said before the game, this is exactly what G2 wanted. But maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's exactly what Wolves wanted, and they showed why today.
Indeed, for sure. I mean, we've run through our day so far really, really quickly. We have one more matchup, though, ready for you just in a bit. After our break, we will be back with the last match of Group A, which will be Virtus.pro taking on Into the Breach.
He gets the second, and Wolves take all 3.